Hey, I'm Kevin, W8NI, and I'm back with another video. Welcome back to my antenna video that I promised you all. In this video, I'm going to talk about the various antennas that I have, that I've used, maybe some development into those, and kind of share what I use when I go out to parks on the air, depending on a number of factors. First of all, I want to get out of the way. One of you asked right away, what kind of antenna do I use? Resonant or random wire? All my antennas are resonant. I don't own a tuner, first of all. And second of all, when I am going mobile, when I'm going out to a park, the last thing I need is something else I need to bring with me that inevitably I will forget. My memory, I don't know. In my memory, it seems like it's shot. So I do not need to add a tuner, extra cables, all those things that are required to get your tuner hooked into your radio. I keep it as simple as possible. By using a resonant antenna, I go antenna, coax to the radio, power into the battery box, and I'm ready to go. That's all I need to take with me when I'm going to the park. So that is why I always do resonant antennas. So now, the two main types of antennas that I use are verticals and end-fed half waves. Verticals, such as this one, I've got a number of videos of me using this vertical. I love this vertical. It gives me a great flexibility all the way down to 80 meters, all the way up to 17 meters without needing to adjust the width length. Many of you have said if I reduce the size of this whip, lower it down, I can make it resonant. And I've found that to be true with this vertical, but this one just, I don't know if it just doesn't change like that. So there might be something wrong with this vertical. I don't know, but it doesn't work that way. So anyways, I just use this one for 80 to 17 meters. And if I need to get on a higher band, then I usually will do an end-fed half wave. Because when I am using a vertical, I'm usually at a park for a purpose. And what I mean by that, when I am going into a park and I set up my vertical, my purpose is either to get in and get out quickly, in which case I'm only going to use one band, or my purpose is to go in and try to get a number of different bands towards an N1CC award, which I already have mine, but I still like to get 10 bands in the parks. I think I'm almost to 20 different parks now using 10 bands. So I really enjoy using a bunch of bands. And if that is the goal, then this is the antenna that I use. Now, also in that, I also hate this antenna. And I hate this antenna because of radials. I hate radials. I found a video that I put out like 2 years ago that said, I hate radials. And so a few months ago, I started playing with loading coils. These are also verticals, right? I use an arrow shaft, and I would insert it in here, screw this in, put a little whip on the top so I'd have a center loaded coil. Vertical. And what I wanted was something quick and easy. So I had a friend of mine machine in this adapter so that I could then go into a mag mount, and then I could just throw this mag mount onto the top of my Jeep with the vertical, and I would be off and running. It was resonant on 20 meters. And as I was looking at it, I thought, well, why don't I just put this on the top? And so I started putting this into my mag mount and running 20 meters. So I set this on 20 meters in my mag mount. I get to a park, I put it up on top, no radials. The Jeep roof is the radial. Throw it up on top, make my 12, 13 contacts just in case. Pull the mag mount back out, stick it in the Jeep, off to the next park. Super fast, super easy. Again, if I'm going with a purpose, I use a vertical. So, love my verticals. The other antenna that I regularly use all the time are end-fed half waves. I love the end-fed half wave when I'm going to a park just to spend time in the park. When I have no specific plans, I love my end-fed half waves. And what I do with those, they take longer to put up. And so it takes me a while to stretch this out, get it out, put it up, throw it up into the tree, and get everything hooked up. So when I put this up, I'm going to be there for a little bit of time. And these end-fed half waves, this one is 4 bands with all right around 1.5 to 1 and under SWR. And I really enjoyed this, but I wanted something a little bit easier to carry around. So I started experimenting with end-fed half wave forms, coils, things, ways to build an end-fed half wave. And I was never happy with the ones they sold online. Most of the time they would wrap these around this way, and this would hang off of one side or another. And the thing is I hang my end-fed like this side to a tree and this side out with the line. And so I always wanted my BNC or PL239 connector to hang straight down so I wouldn't have to kink anything. And so I designed this. A friend of mine with a 3D printer printed it for me, and I made one of these, and it is still in use. It's still in my Jeep. I'll use it every now and then. This was the first prototype. Then as I dealt with it, remember, we're dealing with, you only have so much time to be in a park. And so with these, I could just throw up, make a quick contact. These, I was going to be there a little bit longer, but it doesn't mean I want to spend, a half an hour putting up an antenna, going back and forth and doing those kind of things. And these, you really were stuck unwinding the whole, you'd walk out, you'd get the one side where you thought it would go, you would have to unwind it all the way back. And then once you got back to the feed point, you would adjust it, go back down, adjust the other end. Really wasn't thrilled with this. I wanted something then, because when you're wrapping it back up, then you're wrapping. I wanted something a little bit easier, and that's where this one came into play. You can see the toroid in the middle. I have a form on the outside, and this one I could literally, you take this out, and I would stick my finger in here, and it would just unroll, and I would be able to just unwrap it and take it all the way back to the feed point. And then, of course, going home was just about as easy. You just hold on to the feed point there, and I would just wrap it up, and I'd be off and running. So I liked this one, but I didn't like the fact that I still had to start at the end and go back to the feed point, because when I go to a park, I know where I want to have my radio set up. And so I want to set my feed point there and then take the end out. And so that came to this end-fed half wave. This end-fed half wave, you pop this out. I hook this. This is my feed point. I put this next to the Jeep somehow, rather it attached to the luggage rack of the Jeep or a tree near where the picnic table is, whatever it is. Set that there. And then this, I just walk out with this, and it unwinds all the way. And then when I'm done and ready to go home, I can just wrap it back up, and then this just slides right back into this holder. And it works great. The only downside, I built this to be a QRP, and if I used 50-ish watts, I started having the SWR problems after you would key for a long time. So I doubled up the toroids, the small toroids in there, and that gives me up to about 35 watts easily. 40, if I'm not going too fast, I might be able to squeak by 40, but it's good enough for most applications. So I go ahead and I use this as often as I can. And this lives in my KX2 kit. This kind of pairs with my KX2. Believe me when I say I am thinking about a way to make this be able to hold a larger toroid. I'm working on it. We'll see how it goes. But like I said, this is specifically for when I'm going to spend some time in the park. This is not when I'm trying to hurry, because none of these are quick setups and teardowns. They're pretty fast, but they're not as fast as just throwing the vertical up on the top of the Jeep. So there you go. Those are all I use. End-fed half waves or verticals. That is when I use them. And so I'm interested in what you guys use. Do you use anything other than a vertical or an end-fed half wave? Do you use something different? Is this the same kind of thing you use? Do you have a faster way to take care of your radials? I'm interested in that too. I am surely not the end-all, be-all of antennas. I've built a lot. I've made a lot of contacts, but there's always something to learn. So if you've got anything else to learn for me to learn, go ahead and put it in the comments below. I read each and every one of them. Chances are I'll reply to you as well. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching. W8NI 73, everybody.